Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. How are you today? Today I am here with Emma, and today we are going to talk about something really close to our hearts. Hobbies. You know, those things that bring joy and a sense of accomplishment outside of our daily grind.
Hello, everyone. I am very happy to be here today, Daniel. And honestly, I think hobbies are so vital, especially in our busy modern lives. They're not just about passing time, they're about recharging and discovering new parts of yourself. Let's start our conversation. I'm excited.
Absolutely, Emma. They really are. So let's dive right in. Do you have any hobbies that you're particularly passionate about, or maybe something you've picked up recently?
Oh, yes, I do. My absolute favorite, my go-to, is reading books. I just can't get enough of getting lost in a good story. It's like a mini vacation without ever leaving my couch, you know?
Oh, reading is a wonderful hobby. I totally get that feeling of escapism. What kind of books do you like? Are you into thrillers, or something more educational maybe?
Well, mostly I like stories about travel and adventure. There's just something about exploring new worlds, cultures, and challenging journeys from the comfort of my home that I find incredibly captivating. Sometimes I read a bit of historical fiction too, but adventure always wins. What about you, Daniel? Any literary adventures or other creative outlets?
That sounds incredibly exciting, honestly. I think I need to pick up one of those. For me, my main creative outlet is playing the guitar. It's been quite a journey, and I'm always learning new things.
Wow, the guitar. That is very cool. I've always admired people who can play an instrument. Is it something you've been doing for a long time, or did you just pick it up recently?
It is fun, but it is also a little bit hard to learn, I won't lie. Especially getting your fingers to cooperate and move independently. It requires a lot of patience, which I'm still developing, I think. But it's so rewarding when you finally nail a new chord or a song.
I bet it is. That makes sense. How long have you played then? Did you start as a kid, or was it something you decided to pursue later on?
I actually started a couple of years ago, so I have played for 2 years now. I wish I had started earlier, but better late than never, right? I'm still very much in the learning phase, but I enjoy the process.
That is a good amount of time, honestly. You've probably made significant progress then. Do you play every day? Because I imagine with an instrument, that kind of daily practice is super important.
I try to play for 30 minutes every day. Even if it's just practicing scales or a few chords, that consistent practice really makes a difference. Some days it feels like a chore, but most days it's just pure enjoyment.
That is a great habit, Daniel. Consistency is definitely important for hobbies, especially those that involve skill building. It's how you see progress and really ingrain those new movements or knowledge.
Yes, it is. Consistency means doing something regularly, sticking with it even when it's challenging. That's been key for me with the guitar, and it applies to almost anything, right?
Absolutely. That is a very useful word for our listeners to remember. Let's repeat it. Consistency. It's foundational to mastering anything or even just enjoying it more over time. What about other hobbies? Do you like sports, Daniel?
Good point on consistency, Emma. It's so true. As for sports, I do enjoy some, but tell me about yours first. I recall you being quite active. Do you have a sport you enjoy?
I enjoy swimming. It is very relaxing, and it's a fantastic full-body workout without feeling like too much impact. The feeling of gliding through the water is just, I don't know, it's almost meditative for me.
Swimming is great exercise for sure, and it's so good for your joints too. Do you swim in a pool, or do you ever venture out to open water, like a lake or the ocean?
Usually, I go to the local pool every Saturday morning. It's become a bit of a ritual for me. I love the calm before the rush of the weekend. Open water sounds amazing, but I haven't tried it yet. Maybe one day.
That sounds like a really good way to start the weekend, honestly. Getting some exercise, clearing your head, I can definitely see the appeal of that morning tranquility.
It really is. It makes me feel fresh and energized for the day, and it sets a really positive tone for the rest of the weekend. Plus, it's a great way to wake up the muscles without feeling completely exhausted.
I agree completely. Do you swim alone or do you meet up with friends there? Sometimes having a partner for exercise can really boost motivation, you know?
Usually, I go with my friend, Sarah. We push each other, but it's also nice to just chat afterward. It adds a social element, which I think is a huge bonus for any hobby.
That is nice. It is always better to have a partner, someone to keep you accountable or just share the experience with. That makes perfect sense. Do you like any sports, Daniel? What about beyond the guitar?
Yes, come on, Daniel, spill it. You mentioned sports. Anything you enjoy playing or even just watching?
Well, I like to play tennis sometimes, emphasis on sometimes and play, because I am not very good. I'm more of a casual player, definitely not ready for any tournaments, haha, but it's great for getting outside.
That is okay. It genuinely doesn't matter if you're not a professional. Hobbies are for fun, not just for being perfect. The joy is in the doing, right? It's about the movement, the challenge, the social interaction.
That is very true, Emma. I like to keep that in mind, especially when I'm hitting the ball completely out of bounds. It's a good reminder that it's okay to just enjoy the process and not worry so much about the outcome.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it. Hey listeners, what is your favorite hobby? Please write your answer in the comments. We want to know. Maybe it's something we've mentioned or something totally unique. We're always looking for new ideas too.
Yes, please tell us. Maybe you like painting, cooking, or playing games, or something more unusual like collecting vintage stamps or even birdwatching. Every hobby has its own special charm, I think.
Speaking of cooking, Daniel, is that a hobby for you? Because I know some people really get into it, trying out new recipes, experimenting with flavors. It can be incredibly creative.
Actually, yes. You hit the nail on the head. I particularly like to bake bread. There's something incredibly satisfying about transforming simple ingredients into something delicious and wholesome.
Baking bread, that sounds absolutely delicious, Daniel. I can almost smell it now. Is it a specific type of bread, or do you experiment with different kinds?
It is. The smell in the kitchen when it's baking is just so good, it fills the whole house. I usually stick to sourdough or a classic whole wheat, but I've dabbled in a few different enriched doughs. The process itself is very meditative, you know?
I bet it is. And sourdough, that's next level. Is it difficult to make, or is it one of those things that looks intimidating but is actually quite manageable once you get the hang of it?
It is easy to learn the basics, but you definitely need patience, especially with sourdough because you're working with a living culture and it takes time for the dough to ferment and rise properly. You can't rush it.
Patience. That is another great word and so crucial for many things in life, not just baking. It means waiting calmly without getting upset or frustrated, which, let's be honest, is easier said than done sometimes.
Exactly. You have to wait for the dough to rise, for the flavors to develop. It teaches you to slow down, which I think is a great benefit of a hobby like baking. You're forced to be present.
That is a good example, the waiting game. So Daniel, a quick language point for our listeners. Speaking of things that come up often, let's talk about grammar for a second. We often get questions about this.
Sure, I'm all ears. What would you like to talk about today? Always happy to help clarify things.
Many people ask when to use like versus like to when talking about preferences or hobbies. It can be a little confusing for learners sometimes.
That is a very common question, and a good one. It's one of those nuances of English that can trip people up.
For example, you can say, I like music, where music is a noun, or you can say, I like to listen to music, where to listen is an infinitive verb. Both are perfectly correct and convey a similar meaning.
Exactly. Like followed by a noun, or like followed by a verb with to. And generally, when you're talking about a habitual activity, like to is very natural. I like to play basketball versus I like basketball.
Precisely. So I like soccer or I like to play soccer. The difference is subtle but good to know. It just gives you more options in how you express yourself.
Very simple and very helpful for our listeners who are working on their English. Thanks for bringing that up, Emma.
Of course. And hey, if you are enjoying this conversation, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out and lets us know you appreciate what we're doing.
We really appreciate your support. It means the world to us and allows us to keep bringing you these conversations.
Back to hobbies, Daniel. You mentioned not being very artistic earlier. Have you ever tried painting or drawing or anything like that? Sometimes you surprise yourself, you know?
I have tried, I really have, but I am not very artistic, or at least I don't feel like I have a natural knack for it. My stick figures look like they've been through a hurricane, haha, but I do appreciate art when I see it.
Honestly, it does not matter if you're not an artist in the traditional sense. It is just for fun, for the process of creation. There's no grade, no critics, just you and the canvas. Maybe try abstract art where there are no rules?
That's a good point. Maybe I will try it again one day. I always admire people who can express themselves through colors and shapes. It seems so liberating in a way.
You should. You can start with very simple colors, maybe just a few shades, and see what happens. No pressure. Just put paint to paper. Sometimes the best art comes from just letting go. Speaking of trying new things, what is one hobby you want to start, Daniel, or one you're curious about?
That's a great question, Emma. I've always been fascinated by woodworking. Creating something functional and beautiful with your hands, from raw material, just seems incredibly satisfying. But it also seems like quite an investment in tools and space.
Oh, woodworking is amazing. I can totally see you getting into that. Creating furniture or intricate carvings, that's such a tangible result from your efforts. For me, I really want to learn how to play the piano.
Oh, the piano is beautiful, Emma. That's a fantastic goal. What kind of music would you want to play? Classical, jazz, contemporary?
Yes, it is. I imagine myself playing calming, soothing melodies, maybe some classical pieces eventually, but also modern ballads. But I think it is difficult to read music. All those lines and dots just look like a foreign language to me right now.
It can definitely seem overwhelming at first. Just like learning any new language, musical notation has its own rules. But you can start with very simple songs, learn by ear, or use simplified notation. There are so many apps now that make learning instruments accessible too.
That makes me feel a lot better, actually. Thanks for that encouragement, Daniel. I will definitely look into some beginner resources and maybe for a teacher soon. I'm imagining a little keyboard in my living room now.
That sounds like a great plan, Emma. You'll be playing in no time. Do you have any other hobbies, Daniel? Something we haven't touched on yet?
Yeah, what else do you get up to when you're not strumming guitars or baking delicious bread? Any hidden talents?
Well, I also like photography. It's a bit more of a quiet hobby for me, but I really enjoy it. I mostly take pictures of nature, landscapes, trees, flowers, maybe some wildlife if I'm lucky.
Nature photography, that sounds beautiful and very calming. Do you use a big fancy camera with different lenses or something more portable?
Honestly, I use my phone mostly. The camera on phones is incredibly good now, and it's always with me, so I can capture a moment whenever inspiration strikes. Plus, I don't have to carry a heavy bag of equipment.
That is so true. Phone cameras have come so far. It is much easier than carrying a big professional camera, especially when you're just out for a leisurely walk. It also makes it less intimidating, I think.
Exactly. I like to walk in the park or go for hikes and take photos of trees, interesting light, maybe a bird if it stays still long enough. It's about really observing the world around you, finding beauty in everyday things.
That sounds very peaceful, Daniel. It's like a mindful practice, combining physical activity with artistic expression and observation. I love that.
It is my favorite way to spend a Sunday, to be honest. Just getting out, breathing fresh air, and looking for those perfect shots. It completely clears my head.
I like to go to the park too, but I prefer to find a nice bench and read. Sometimes I'll bring a blanket and just really settle in for a few hours. It's a different kind of peaceful, I suppose.
We could go together one day, Emma. You read and I take photos. It sounds like a perfect afternoon. We wouldn't even disturb each other.
That sounds like a perfect afternoon, Daniel. I'm picturing it now. A quiet corner in the park, dappled sunlight. It's ideal.
I agree completely. It highlights how hobbies can bring people together, even if you're doing different things in the same space.
That's a great point. It's about shared enjoyment of a peaceful environment. Daniel, do you prefer indoor or outdoor hobbies, generally speaking, or does it really depend?
I like both, honestly. It definitely depends on the weather and also my mood. Sometimes I crave the fresh air and movement, and other times I just want to curl up inside with a project.
That is a very good point. If it is raining or really cold, I am definitely staying inside. Reading is my absolute favorite indoor activity for those gloomy days.
Yes, reading is a great indoor hobby for rainy days. And baking too, the warmth of the oven is just perfect when it's cold outside. Or even playing guitar, it's a perfect indoor escape.
It really is. A warm blanket, a hot cup of tea, and a good book are truly the best combination. And maybe some of your freshly baked bread, Daniel.
I agree completely, Emma. It sounds like a perfect day, inside or out, as long as you're enjoying something you love. That's what hobbies are all about.
Exactly. What about you, listeners? Do you prefer staying inside with a cozy hobby or going outside and being active? We're so curious to hear your preferences.
Tell us in the comments. We love reading your responses and getting new ideas for our own hobby lists.
Daniel, this has been a very fun and insightful talk about hobbies. It's been great sharing our passions and hearing yours.
Today was a lot of fun, Emma. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and I think we've covered a lot of ground on why hobbies are so important for our well-being.
I truly enjoyed our conversation today, and I hope our listeners feel inspired to either pick up an old hobby or start a brand new one. It's never too late to find something you love.
Thank you, everyone, for listening and spending this time with us. Remember to find that thing that brings you joy and makes you feel fulfilled.
See you in the next episode, and don't forget to keep exploring your passions.
Goodbye, everyone.